guys, Zangetsu 134 here, bringing you another My Hero Academia vlog, this time on Season 4, Episode 3. Well, that's not confusing or anything. Yeah, and so I know this is a little late, I had been doing some stuff. We'd actually been planning, to do a Halloween episode for Remember the Hyphen, so, we filmed that on Tuesday when me and, Average Joe Squad / Colton could, get that out. Link for those in the description. That should be coming out tomorrow. We usually release it the day of with filming, but we decided to release it on tomorrow since tomorrow's actually Halloween, and so yeah. But otherwise, I've just been kind of distracted. Um, but yeah, I finally got around to watching it. I just finished it actually, and so yeah. So this episode we get the fight between Izuku and Night Eye. Basically, Night Eye wanted to not to let Izuku in, mainly because he doesn't believe that Izuku should be All Might's chosen successor, as Night Eye has clearly sided with the idea that Togata Medio should have been um, All Might's successor, not Izuku. He doesn't really understand why Izuku was chosen by All Might. But yeah, otherwise it's not a bad fight. In fact, I actually really like the animation for it. It really shows how fast Izuku is and how much Izuku has grown since gaining full Cal. Um, Unfortunately, it's not really good against Night Eye's abilities Foresight, which allows him to basically, if once he touches someone, he can see all of their moves into the future for 1 hour. Basically, he using Foresight by touching. It's basically like the move in Pokemon, where basically if basically it acts that he can see everything that the person is going to do. It's not that he can see their thoughts, but he can definitely read what they're doing, and he can do so for that person for an hour. Which Izuku tries to get around by creating a bunch of debris and throwing it around so that it would distract Night Eye and make it so that he wouldn't be able, and basically give him a factor he can't predict. Unfortunately, Night Eye is just that much better than him. And while I admit when we were introduced to Night Eye, I didn't like him at all. In fact, I don't really like him until pretty much close to the end of the arc, and even then, it's not really. I can respect him for what he is and why he's doing what he's doing, but for the most part, it's really hard to get into Night Eye being likable as a whole. Um, Otherwise, once again, it's just more introducing some new elements to it, such as Kirishima, Tokoyami, Siu, and Uraraka getting internships, which is actually one of the big things you'll see in the next episode, as Kirishima gets chosen to work with Tamaki in his internship, and Uraraka and Siu are getting internships with Hato's intern, because all three of the big three actually have work studies. Um, and otherwise, it's also introducing the big moment in the next episode, as at the end of this, Izuku runs into Overhaul and the new character for this arc, Eri. Well, one of the new characters introduced in this arc, Eri, the little girl that you've been seeing in the opening. I'm not going to reveal too much about Eri because we'll actually see more of the plot with Eri as the episodes come out. So yeah, I really do like the fight, and I liked seeing Izuku and Night Eye talking about their devotion and fanboyishness to about All Might. My favorite part being the fact that Izuku knew that there was a poster that wasn't actually like, it wasn't sold as merchandise. It was just like a display piece that he had. I really like the talk about official merchandise and how when they showed the All Might toy in a box, it was clearly a reference to the SH Figure Arts toys line from Bandai, which isn't them, but I mean, to be fair, Bandai pretty much does all of Shonen Jump material toy merchandise. Otherwise, it was fun. I did really like the animation, like the speedy zips and stuff. it gave it a lot of weight to it. Um, Unfortunately, much like the last episode, there's not really much to talk about here, and even less so than I think the other one. I did like them animating the story about the kid who changed the river into vinegar with his quirk because his parents were having a fight with him. That was a neat little thing. Also like the way they show how Night Eye's quirk works, where his eyes change to black with a purple thing, as if to say he's looking into the future. And also liked how like when he dodges out of the way of stuff, it'll show this grayscale with these clocks showing how he sees the future, how basically he sees what his opponent's going to do before he can do it, and then he moves out of the way. It also shows how like skilled he is. We don't really get to see it yet because he doesn't get into a fight for a while, but basically Night Eye is actually really strong and agile. Like basically he's trained to like his physical peak basically so that he can use his quirk to its fullest because it's not really a combat quirk. There's a lot of characters that in the show that like they have combat quirks that are clearly built for combat, and they train it more than they do their physical nature, unless they have like an augmentation ability like Izuku or Kirishima for that matter, how they train themselves physically so that they can fully use their augmentation abilities to their fullest. I guess you could also count Ojiro since like his martial arts abilities are clearly augmented by his tail quirk and not the other way around. Uh, or how Tokoyami has started to work out in order to build up physical abilities so that when he can't utilize Dark Shadow, he can fight with close quarters combat. Um, I also kind of like that they do explain more about why Night Eye eventually takes Izuku in, not just because I don't. It's not just that he wants to make him give up one for all. He was actually mildly impressed that Izuku, even though he was, dealing with the fact that he found out he wasn't All Might's first pick, and that it really should have probably gone to someone, even in Izuku's eyes, more fitting, more suited to the using the power than him as well. I mean, you can even see that clearly Night Eye has been training Togata to build up his body so that if he were to get the quirk, one for all, his body wouldn't take nearly as much damage if he were. Um, that being said, I think a lot of the reason why Night Eye chose him was just because he was so impressed that Izuku was able to dodge all the All Might memorabilia, even though he was causing damage to everything else in the room. He clearly couldn't damage anything All Might related, showing that he is just as much devoted um, to All Might's ideals of the symbol of peace, which I think Night Eye kind of interprets weirdly. That's one of the things I like about the show is that everyone interprets what it means to be a hero differently. To Night Eye, he believes that right now society, thanks to losing All Might, doesn't need a dim light of hope. They need a dazzling, gleaming light of hope to show that even though All Might is gone, we can carry on without him. To quote, forgive me for quoting Naruto. To quote Naruto, as long as there's someone who has the will of fire, the pillar will never break, sort of thing. The whole like that we can stand because as long as someone has All Might's will, the pillar that is justice and peace and hope can't be cracked or shattered. Which is interesting, but like I said, there's not much really to go on here. I almost think I should have waited until the next episode coming out this weekend to talk about it. But otherwise, it was a fine episode. Like I said, there's not really much to talk about. I did like they actually referenced I can't remember. I think they do reference it in the manga, but it's been a while since I read the chapters where Mineta decides he doesn't really want an internship job because basically they'll just make you run errands and stuff. And Kaminari's like, oh, it's like your internship we had in the second season. He doesn't say it like this, but the internship we had in the second season where, uh, for those of you who haven't seen the second season or my vlogs, which, well, actually I never did a vlog for the first two seasons. The first two seasons I did like a quick once over where I talked about them. Um, Basically in the second season, Mineta's internship was with Mount Lady, and Mount Lady basically made him do chores around her house. Um, what was okay? That was just okay. I thought someone said something, but it was just my computer because I've got my laptop right here because I watch stuff in my room on my laptop. Um, But yeah, I like that they brought up that. In fact, all the characters actually bring up their internships, which means that Sue actually brings up the name of her, because I don't believe in the manga they actually ever named her internship. Her internship was actually filler for for the anime. They talked about the only thing we get a hint about Sue's internship in the manga was that she helped her hero fight drug smugglers, which became an entire episode in season 2. I don't think we'll have anything like that, especially not with Tokoyami's internship with Hawks, because that actually comes up later on as a plot point. So it'd be important we don't actually see it now. But later on in the series, in the manga, they actually talk about his internship a little bit, as it helps Tokoyami later on down the line develop new fighting abilities with Dark Shadow. Um, yeah, they bring up. I want to say Kirishima's internship with Fourth Kind was also a bit filler. I think they showed him in it, but I don't think they showed as nearly as much of his internship as they did the others, just because Kirishima isn't nearly as sadly important to the manga as I'd like him to be, or the series. Granted, he does have a lot of story moments, but like this is like coming up is actually going to be one of his big story moments in the series. Um, yeah, they bring up that. They bring up Sue's. They bring up how Uraraka wanted to get an internship with Gunhead, but Gunhead hasn't taken nearly enough interns. Um, but that was cool. Especially because they all kind of get their internships after Izuku. It was nice to see that they were going to be more than just Izuku getting internships. I think that was actually a good move on Horikoshi's part, even if, to be fair, these characters are here because they're going to be important to the plot. I think it was good to have them just because it was nice to not see just Izuku getting the internship, where a lesser anime would have made it that the main character gets to have this special treatment because he out of everybody else gets to go on an internship. Um, but otherwise, yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward more to the next episode because the next episode's going to have some pretty good revelations as well as some good moments between Izuku and All Might. Again, I've read up to this part, but yeah, I'm really. I think it was a good episode. Like I said, this season I knew was kind of probably going to be a little slow to start. Not terribly slow, but probably pretty slow going. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where this will go. So yeah, I think that's gonna be enough for this one. Come back next week for uh, when I review season 4 or episode 4, and you know, click on the notifications at the bottom to watch the new episode of Remember the Hyphen when it comes out. Because I think it's coming out yet. You're coming out, but I'm not sure yet. I gotta check with Vault reviews before I can say that officially. So with that, guys, I'm Zangetsu 134, and I will see you in the next episode review. Until then, guys, take care.